I thought we were going to get away with it. I thought it was going to kind of run all the way before freezing, but it didn't. And that is part of the tradition nowadays, isn't it? If ever I get that fixed, I'm going to redo that intro and deliberately put a freeze into it. Anyway, it's Friday. It's here once again. And yes, cheers, fellow Fatacasters. And I will just add that is the name that you chose. That was the clear winner in the poll. A couple of people have been in touch and said, I've lost weight. Am I still a Fatacaster? It's a state of mind, let me tell you. If you enjoy a beer on a Friday, then you're more than welcome to call yourself a Fatacaster. In case you're wondering, yes, I do look a little bit different. I got new glasses. This is my spare pair because my other pair, basically fell to bits. You know, the little nose pads, things that kind of where it rests on your nose. It was about 3 o'clock this afternoon. I thought, my glasses are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and I looked, and one of them had fell off, and so anyway, I had to get the spare pair out the drawer. So that is why I look a little bit, different. They do make me look a bit different, don't they? But it's still me. Anyway, couple of things to talk about this evening, and not that I ever have a plan, but we'll get through one way or another, and we'll start, as always, by looking at who was teacher's pet, who was first in, and that was Steve Hale saying hello from Cumbria. Then we got Timbo Rent to Kill. Yes, Rent to Kill, you could be. I could rely upon you once for being first through the door, but no longer, it seems. You need to try a bit harder, mate. And then we got Sean House, Rob Bald, and Grandpa Joe, as always, wishing us a happy Friday and upcoming weekend. Saying a fantastic way to start the day. Well, thank you so much, mate. Grandpa Joe is, of course, in New York, so he's not quite at beer o'clock yet, but I'm sure he will be at some point today. Then we've got Peter Collins, Peter Nicholson, there's Theme Tunes, and John Ross, and Terry Day, and who else we got? Johnny Random, Mark Kerno, Steve Entwistle is in, and so is Sometimes Dim Never Thin. Scrolling down, I see we've got Dr. Gomez 1, Anton, Ben Allmark, Stephen Hedger, Savvy64 is in, so is Thomas Mulvaney, Cylon Hybrid, and then we've got PFY Guitars, and Amadeus is there, so is Gordo Canuck, and saying he loves the new name, by the way. Well, thank you, mate. That I can't take any credit for that. That was put out to a poll. It was one of the ones that was suggested on here, and I put a poll up on the community tab, and it was a clear winner by some margin. Who else have we got? We've got Paul Trainer BSc, and we've got Dave Fiendish saying... Afternoon, John. Regards to your good lady and Dougal and chaps. Are we ready to indulge in a chilled one? I most certainly am. It's Friday, of course I am. Mind you, I'll say that on a Tuesday or a Wednesday as well. We've got David James. We've got Joe McMurray. We've got Anton. Have I said you already? I just did. Anyway, there's Stuart Young. And we've got Chris Otterwell, Ian Clark. David Evans is in. So is Vince. Craig Stamen. Oh, he's just popped in to say hello. Won't be able to make it tonight as I'm working over. I'll watch later and have a beer or two. Have a great weekend, everyone. Well, same to you, Craig. And then scrolling down, let's see what we've got. Malcolm Thompson. We've got 60s Man. We've got Rubbish Guitar Bloke. We've got David Mitchell, Robert Galbraith, Peter Goddard. And we've got David Collins and Robert Forsyth. There's John Mack, the Essex Cat. And scrolling down, there's the Gissy 77 saying hello, guys. Moto Takahe is in, so is Pablo Hank, Gary Shaw. Far John is in, so is Cal Texper. I'm a 640. Ron Wells is there, so is Nathan. And we got James Hunt, we got Ian Rouse, we got Neil Roberts, we've got Triple Distilled and Les Roper. We've got Mick McG68, Dudley Squat is there, so is Ivor, Billy Paul, John Channing, Watches and Guitars, Martin Bix, and Dennis Flock. And there's Colin Falcon bringing up the rear. There's Cy Rollinson as well. Billy Paul is in, so is I'm a 640. We got Ian Geddes. We got Bill Mumbo. We got Jeff Bennett, Colin Falcon. Have I said you? I think I've said you already, haven't I, mate? But there's Graham Campbell. I haven't said you yet, or I just did. Jamie W. and John Little is in, and anyone else that I've missed. Let's have a quick look. Guitar Bass Dude is there. Dennis Flock, Jeff Bennett. Mr. Chris 5254, and I think that's pretty much everyone. I don't want to carry on too long. There's David Holcroft, Phil, Ollie M, and I think that's everyone. Apologise if I missed you there, but I do like to try and kind of rattle through the roll call as quickly as possible. 162 souls on board as I'm looking at my counter here. And I just want to say a massive thank you before we go any further to Mr. Peter Goddard there. That new logo, the Fatacasters logo, which is on the T-shirts, by the way, available on my website, johnrobsonmusic.co.uk, the Fatacasters T-shirts. That was designed by Peter Goddard. Thank you, mate. And he just emailed that to me last weekend. And I'd already done something similar when I was designing the T-shirt, but I thought, that logo looks pretty good. I'll stick it on the T-shirt and I'll stick it on the thumbnail. So there it is. And how much are the shirts? I can, let me just have a look. I'll tell you. robsonmusic.co.uk. I'm just going to my website here to have a look because I need to have a quick reminder. The T-shirts are, they are £29.79. And before you say anything, out of that £29.79, I'll probably see about £6. That is just the way that Teespring, or Spring as it's called these days, operates. I would like to be able to sell them for a tenner and maybe make £3 or £4 out of them. But, it just doesn't work like that. They tell you a minimum price that you can set them at, and they tell you what you get out of them. So, I do apologise for the for the pricing, but that is a Teespring thing. It has to be, because they're printing them and shipping them and all that sort of stuff. I suppose they're doing the lion's share of the heavy lifting. All I do is upload a design and kind of and tick add to store. Anyway, it's there. It is. That's what they cost. But talking of T-shirts. What do you think of this one? Bought by a mate. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Excuse me, need a drink. Oh, I see you've got Jeff Crouch in there, and Raymondo, you generous chap, sir. A can of pedigree chum. Even the dog doesn't eat pedigree chum. It's all we can do to get him to eat the kind of posh dog food that we get. It's like, he looks at his dog food and he's saying, I've got that and you've got a bacon sandwich. Which one do you think I'm going to hold out for? And yes, he is spoiled, and yes, he does get bits and pieces of bacon sandwich. And okay, let me explain this. Whenever we eat sausages in this house, I will eat 3 sausages and the wife will eat 2. Whenever we buy sausages, they come in packs of 8. So you buy 2 packs. That means that you get 16 sausages, right? Okay, so bear with me on this. And so, like, 1 portion of sausages for me and the missus is 5 sausages. 2 packs of 8 is 16 sausages. So what we do is we cut these 16 sausages up into 3 lots of 5 1/3. Guess who gets the third of the sausage in each pack? Yes, that would be Dougal. Yes, he is spoiled. Cal B saying all YouTube merch from there is about $50 Canadian for a tee and $65 for the hoodie. Yeah, it is. The they do take the lion's share of the price, and I get effectively what is a commission off it. So if anybody's thinking, oh, he's coining it in 30 quid a shirt, no, I'm not. But it's I shall have to order a sample, because even I have to pay full price for them, by the way. I pay full price rather than subtracting off what I get from it. I pay full price, and then they pay me my commission back. It's weird the way it works. Rob Ball saying, has anyone seen Chip Young lately? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's like another alumni of this parish. Ozzy. We haven't seen him in a while, have we? Ozzy Mandias, or whatever he used to. I think, didn't he become 21st Century Boy or something? Changed his handle to that. But he's not been around in a while, has he? And I see we got I'm Not Creative there. Oh, so you've got Steve Cassidy guitar in. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here. Let me tell you what's coming up on the channel this week before I forget. Sunday is all about Les Pauls. It's all about a particular practice that people tend to do on a Les Paul. Some people do. And people always kind of say, oh, it improves the playability. It makes the strings feel much slinkier. It's a fantastic way of reducing the string tension, which is something that I'm kind of having to do at the moment because of this, etc. So top wrapping the strings on a Les Paul. I thought I'll give it a go. I've been putting kind of 9 to 42s on everything. I've gone down to that gauge from 10 to 46, but I still had like a few packs of 10 to 46s around. I thought, well, I can use those on the Les Paul if I can reduce the string tension by top wrapping. And you will find out on Sunday whether or not that worked for me. Does it make a difference? Does it make a positive difference? Does it make a negative? Does it make any difference at all? You will find out what I think of top wrapping on Sunday. OEM is asking, anyone had experience with Gear for Music DIY guitar? No, I haven't. Not with them. I've had plenty of experience with Gear for Music, most of it positive, but the last time it was anything but positive. I've never had a bad guitar from them, I will say that. Apart from the an Epiphone Les Paul Studio that just clearly hadn't had any setup work done on it at all, which required. I mean, it was all fixable, but other than that, I haven't had a bad guitar from them, and it's just bad customer service I had last time, it has to be said. Ian Clark saying, is it just me or is John slightly out of focus? Let me see if I can do something about that. The lighting is a bit low in here, so I'm just going to see if I can just do that. There we go. Oh, don't want it too glaring, but hopefully that's made things a little bit sharper. So, yes, Sunday, top wrapping. Then on Monday, it's the guitar solo from the song that I always put on a morning, first thing on a morning, when I've had a few too many sherries the night before. I may wake up and feel a little bit dusty, as they say. And as I'm kind of tentatively nursing that first cup of coffee, or bucket of coffee as it usually is, and I want something soothing that just kind of soothes my fevered brow, then there is a particular song that I always put on, and it's be way too difficult for me to think of a cryptic clue. It is the solo from Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. That whole album is just, it's my hangover cure, it has to be said. What you're saying there, got to dim the head glare there, fair enough. Jay How Young is saying, never actually played anything other than a top rap Leicester. Where are we? Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat there, because it's coming along thick and fast here. It's my glasses. Yeah, these are my spare glasses. I do apologise. I will go to the pound shop and buy another spare pair of reading glasses, because that's what I wear. The last pair of prescription glasses I had gave me immense headaches, and I couldn't see properly with them. And I can see properly with these. So anyway, Monday is the solo, as I say, from Nora Jones, Come Away With Me. Then Tuesday, top 5 Tuesday, as always, and it is a subject I thought I'd covered, but apparently I haven't. It's my top 5 acoustic guitar solos. If you might want to just speculate about what might be on that list. Ollie M saying, thanks for the shout out, John. Just forgot the kit on the end. I knew what you meant, mate, the DIY guitar kits. My general impression of guitars that I've played made from those kits is that they leave a lot to be desired. It's you buy the kit, and it seems you're going to have to kind of forget about the electronics and the tuners and the hardware and buy those yourself and replace those, because invariably they're junk. And then you're going to have to spend a lot of more time doing a setup on the guitar than it actually takes to kind of bolt the whole thing together. And in the end, you might as well just buy something like a Paisley or a Harley Benton, and somebody else has done all the donkey work for you. That's been my impression of the Harley Benton kits that I've tried, and one or two others that I can't remember their brand names, but the kind of things that you can buy on eBay. I've never tried a Gear for Music guitar kit. I did at one point think I was going to have a go at doing one of those Wilkinson guitar kits where you build a telly. There was maybe 18 months ago, there was a video going around of Trev Wilkinson actually doing that himself. I just never got round to it. I didn't have the time, and I'm thinking, well, do I need another Telecaster? Always, but I didn't need that one. Anyway, yes, Tuesday, top 5 acoustic solos. On Wednesday, it is a viewer's question as usual. And the question in question this week is all about chord inversions. What are they? How do you use them? What difference do they make? All that kind of good stuff. And so I did a little piece of music that was all my own work, and, just entirely something that I cooked up in my own head, and put the video up to illustrate what chord inversions do, and then immediately got hit with a copyright claim. Basically, so it happens from time to time. You can contest it, but it's I take the view that all the times I've transferred an album onto cassette, or do you remember in the late 90s? Every workplace had that slightly dodgy guy who could get you pirate copies of CDs. And then, Napster came along, and some people may have been, kind of illegally accessing music that they hadn't bought via that, and so on and so on. So if you add up all of those instances where I may or may not have, ripped the record companies off, the fact that they're ripping me off now it's a bit calmer, isn't it, really? And I still reckon I'm kind of coming out on top anyway. So that's Wednesday's video, all about chord inversions, where I got a copyright claim. And then on Thursday, you will finally get to see what was, because it isn't anymore, in that Gibson box there. The only reason it's there is because I haven't got anywhere else to put it. I need to clear out the shed, and that's just one of those jobs that inevitably you put off, because who wants to spend the time clearing out the shed, which is where all the guitar boxes end up living. So you're going to find out which Gibson guitar, and it is a Gibson guitar, was living in that box. I'll give you a slight clue. It's rather larger than your average guitar box. So if you can think of a Gibson guitar that takes up a little bit more room than a regular sized guitar, you might be onto something there. Anton, I remember those. Where are we? Oh, got gear view mirror there, mate. good evening. Anton, I remember those, it was always on the inner sleeve of a 12-inch vinyl album you used to buy, didn't you? Like a Skull and Crossbones with a cassette on it. Home taping is killing music, and it's illegal. Yeah, I remember that. That immensely. See, I'm going to take issue with you there, Jeff Rock. Spotify is killing music. It's having an effect on music that is undeniable. Excuse me. Whether it's killing it or not is debatable, I think. And I'm going to put the case for Spotify. Because I see this from both sides of the fence. I'm a musician, and I guess you could call me songwriter, although I don't write lyrics. But I have copyrighted material that is, this is going to be a flaky one. I think we're just going to let that settle. That one's not going to all go in, is it? Flake. I'm a musician, and I have music up on Spotify, and I earn next to nothing from it. So there is the argument that Spotify and similar streaming services are killing music. But all it's doing is it's meaning that if you want to earn a living in music, you've got to do something like what I do, which is YouTube and teaching and stuff like that. But if you want to make a living as, a musician rather than, kind of somebody who talks about music and teaches it, then you have to get up on your hind legs in front of an audience, play gigs, get out there, tour, play live shows, sell merch. That's another big income stream for many, gigging musicians that I know. Once upon a time, the tour was the loss leader that sold copies of the album, which is where the artist and the record company would make their money. And that was a situation where a band didn't really need to tour if they could generate enough publicity. And that led to situations where you had, what was that band? Sieg Sputnik, if anybody remembers them, and who were the ones that were caught? Milli Vanilli, kind of lip syncing and miming, okay? Because you could get away with that in the studio, put it out there, make an income from, selling the recordings of your music. Now that income stream is basically non-existent. All you've got left to kind of earn a living from as a musician, if you're not doing what I'm doing, is to get out there and gig. And I think it acts as a natural filter, because there are people like Milli Vanilli and Sieg Sputnik and countless others across the decades who were just incapable of playing live. So I think that streaming platforms like Spotify have inadvertently, I'm not going to say this was part of their raison d'etre to begin with, I think they have inadvertently saved live music for a start off, and meant that you will only get any kind of record company backing, which you can do it without them, but it's a lot easier with them. Let's face it. You'll only get the backing of a record label if you can actually get out there and play and deliver the goods in front of a live audience. And so I'm not saying that Spotify and Deezer and Apple Music and all the other streaming services are a wholly positive thing. I'm just saying that there is a positive spin on what you can, on what they do. Rob Bald is saying, Sieg Sputnik Love Missile F1. I think it was F111, wasn't it, mate? Yes. And let's have a wee look, see what else I've missed in the chat while I've been sermonising there. A lot of people commenting on the flakiness of the beer. In case you didn't see, it's Kronenberg 1664 this evening. I feel guilty not having the Heineken to get in Edwin Toonan's good books, but the Heineken has been sold out in Morrison's for the past few weeks. So it's just whatever else they've got that same deal on. David Evans, what are you saying, mate? John recently saw a vid on YouTube saying if you slightly undo the screws on a bolt on neck while strung, then tight up again, improving sustain, string tension, pulling neck tighter into pocket. Yeah, I saw that same video. Well, not the same video. I saw a similar video. It's got to be thick end of 10 years ago, if not more, where that same phenomenon was quoted and demonstrated. And I think I tried it and didn't really notice any difference. But I don't know. Guitars are individual beasts, aren't they? What is going to like the whole top wrapping thing? I've seen plenty of videos saying that top wrapping a Les Paul makes it feel a lot looser and a lot slinkier. And then recently, since I made the video that I made about mine, which will be going out on Sunday, I saw an old Robert Baker video where he said it had the exact opposite effect. So it simply goes to prove that, one guitar is going to behave differently from another guitar. And this is something that we kind of know anyway, because if you go into a shop and pick two identical Fenders or Gibsons or Epiphones or Ibanez's off the rack and try them, there'll always be kind of one that just thinks, yeah, this one's just a little bit better, and you can't quite put your finger on why, but that it just is. And I suppose that's the nature of anything which is made from an organic material like timber. Moto Takahe is saying top loader tellies. Right, now top loader tellies, that is something I can express an opinion on definitively. Every time I've which has been 2 or 3 times, so it's not a vast sample size, but every time I've converted a Telecaster from top loader to string through, I've noticed that the strings feel stiffer, tighter, more kind of, I don't know, just kind of stiffer in some way. And on a Telecaster, I kind of like that because, it encourages you to play a little bit more aggressively and dig in and, just play the way a Telecaster likes to be played, which is to grab it by the scruff of the neck and just, kind of give it some welly. People who aren't used to playing Telecasters will often say, yeah, but they sound really thin and they sound, a bit brittle and it's just that kind of trebly, kind of ice picky kind of sound, which it can be until you start kind of giving it a bit of wallop and just kind of get in and kind of hit the thing and play it with some force. And then the sound just seems to kind of go, ooh, and just blossom. And so kind of converting a top loader telly to string through always seems to have that effect for me. And I suppose that is why many people say a string through Telecaster has more sustain and kind of more guts. I'm not sure it does inherently, but it just encourages you to play it in a way that brings out that aspect of its sound. What you're saying there, Timbo? Still play live with our covers band 2 to 3 times a month, earn good cash in a hand income, love it, and the crowds love us. Entertain the crowd, they forgive the slight cock-ups. Well, yeah, that's a thing that, that's a circuit I was on for many, many years. And, it's not something that I do anymore. And, I did a couple of videos, a couple of top 5 Tuesdays, got to be over a year or so ago now, where it was the 5 things I miss about gigging and the 5 things I don't miss about gigging. And maybe you go and check those out, you'll find out why I don't do it anymore. Pablo Hank is saying, have you heard the new version of Going Home featuring everyone? I haven't, mate, but that is one of my favourite Knopfler tunes, it has to be said. Specifically the live version of it, not from the Alchemy Live album, but the Live at Wembley TV thing that was on in, I think it's got to have been about 1985, I suppose. It was on the Brothers in Arms tour. So it will have been 1985, and I had the VHS of this for years, and it's all up there on YouTube. But on when they do Going Home at the end of the concert, Hank Marvin comes out and joins in, which is like really nice, because Uncle Hank is one of my heroes, it has to be said. Excuse me, I'm just reading the chat. Graham Campbell is saying, the new Black Crowes album is out today. It's actually really good, a pleasant surprise. Is it surprising that it's pleasant? I've always liked the Black Crowes. I've got to tell you, the one album of theirs that I still go back to and listen to over and over and over again is Shake Your Moneymaker, the first album, the one that where they announced their presence. Was it 89 or 90 with their version of Hard to Handle, the Otis Redding song? For me, that has... when sometimes a cover version becomes the definitive version of a song, for me, that is that. And that's saying a lot of an Otis Redding song, that his version isn't the definitive one, but for me, that is it. And I've had a few other albums, I can't remember the titles. Amorica was one of them. It was one of their early albums. But, that first album, Shake Your Moneymaker, with Sister Luck and She Talks to Angels and all that kind of stuff, it's just a perfect blues rock album, I think. Let's have a quick look. Billy Paul is saying, will you do a review of the Boss Katana Go, please, John? Yeah, I could do, I suppose. I do tend to kind of back off whenever there's a new product that every other YouTube channel is talking about. My philosophy is often, well, do I really want to get lost in a sea of other videos all about the same product and do I really want to be kind of seem to be jumping on a bandwagon? There is that part of me that sort of resists it, but if you want to see me do a review of the Boss Katana Go, I did a review of the Boss Katana 50 ages ago. Gosh, it's got to be 5 years ago now, possibly longer. I think that was 2018, 2019. Although I started this channel in 2008, back in the days when you didn't even have a YouTube channel, you just had a YouTube account. I really consider that the origins of this channel that we're kind of looking at now was 2018. Because I did 10 years where I was posting maybe 3 or 4 videos a year. And not really taking it seriously. And then I did one infamous video about Fender Stratocasters, which kind of got me monetized, and I started doing regular content. And so I tend to think of this channel as originating in 2018. So it was in that context, it was in the early days of the channel. I did the review of the actual Boss Katana combo. But this little headphone amp, everybody's raving about it seems to be said. So maybe, and you know that these are all the YouTubers that are kind of much bigger fish in the pond than I am, that have been sent one and been told to give a kind of well, if you want to kind of get more stuff from us, then you know what to say about this product. I'm not saying there's any kind of collusion going on, but there is sometimes, well, quite often, an unspoken bargain that goes with these things, possibly, just in case anyone's legal department is watching this. So maybe if I just might buy one, and see what I think. It's something to think about, but the thing is, at the moment, I'm working on videos which will be going out in the second half of April, and we're only in, well, we're kind of just at the midpoint of March at the moment, because I do these, what it is, I can do like 1 and a bit videos a day. And when you've been doing 1 and a bit videos a day for, 5-6 years now, you get a little bit in front of yourself, and you kind of got things going on scheduled into the future, which is how I managed to be able to take essentially a month off from making YouTube videos when I had the hand injury, because I was even further in front before that. So I'll see what I can do. I'll grab one. And, if they're not sold out everywhere, that's a proviso. I'll grab one and see what I think of it. But the video is probably going to be closer to the back end of April or the beginning of May. Where are we? Let's have another look in the chat. David Evans is saying, John, 30k subscribers. Just saying, people might just see a vid review. Lol. Okay. I keep forgetting I've got 30,000 subscribers, which is, I'm incredibly proud of it. And back in the days when I had like 3,000 subscribers, I would have thought that, that'd be good to if I can ever reach that. But it's like chasing the end of the rainbow. It's like now I'm thinking, well, maybe 50 would be nice, 50k. But I still don't think. I mean, the people who have the sway in this YouTube industry are the Philip McKnights of this world, and the Henning Pauleys and people like that who are well into 6 figures. And Rick Beato, although Rick Beato doesn't do reviews, does he? He could. I mean, he could. He could pick up the phone or type an email to pretty much any big guitar industry figure like Gibson, Boogie, Fender, and just say, yeah, send me a guitar, I'll do a review, and they would, but he just chooses not to. Let's have a wee look, see what's going on. Mr. Chris is saying, be honest, one I sent is shit. Okay, well, fair enough, mate. Jimmy James is saying, human nature to be loyal to freebies. Yeah, now on that subject, the video that went out yesterday of that FRTLZR fret polishing thing. Okay, I need to fill you in on that a little bit. Actually, that was basically the company got in touch with me and said, we've got a product that we'd like you to try out. Would you be interested? And they explained what it was, a fret polishing system, and they sent me the video of it being used. And okay, yeah, send it over. No, I mean, I didn't buy it. They sent it to me. I've still got it somewhere knocking around. What have I done with it? Oh, here it is. Yes, this is the article in question. Here it is. So they sent it to me. They were good enough to kind of send me something that I didn't have to pay for. And I watched their video on how you're supposed to use it. And as far as I was concerned, I used it in the way that they prescribed. And it worked, it did the job, but it didn't do it in a way that I found was particularly ergonomic or easy to use. And I thought it was a little bit expensive for what it was. And that was essentially the thrust of the video. And then the video went out, and I made that weeks ago. And I told them, I emailed them after I made the video and said, I've made the video. It's going to be going out on the 14th of March. This is what I think of it, and this is going to be reflected in the video. And they were cool with that. And then the video goes out, and I was in Zoom lessons, Zoom meetings from 2 p.m. yesterday till 8 p.m. Okay, and the video had gone out at 6 p.m. UK time. So it's like, and I logged into my email at 8 p.m. Basically, not for the purpose of checking my email, but just to kind of send some lesson material over to my final student. And I noticed there's an email there from these guys, and they're telling me I've made a misleading video. They're telling me that I've actively blocked their comments on the video so that I wasn't giving them the right to reply. I'd done nothing like that because I'd been busy in lessons. And as far as I was concerned, the video wasn't misleading. It was an honest appraisal of a product, of an unsolicited product that I had been sent. I hadn't gone cap in hand to them, asking for them to send me something to try out. I did say in the video that the product works. It made a good job of the frets on me Les Paul, but I just think that there were easier and cheaper alternatives. And on the topic of blocking their comments, I simply hadn't done it. And to prove that I hadn't done it, I screenshotted a publicly visible their publicly visible comment on that video, and emailed them the screenshot. And then their response was, "Well, we can't see it when we look at the video. You must have blocked it." And I screenshotted it again and even pinned the damned comment to kind of prove that and said, okay, here's a screenshot of the comment which has been pinned. And I also informed them that any further emails from them would be heading straight into my spam folder. So that is the kind of stuff you've got to deal with when companies send you stuff to deal with. I think there is an unspoken understanding that if they send you something, you have to give it a kind of a bit of a positive spin, and I ain't going to do that. David Evans is saying, John, that fret polishing company put a bloody essay in their comments. Yes, they did, didn't they? I'm glad that actually proves that if you saw their comment, then their accusation to me of blocking their comments is hogwash, basically. Johnny Random saying, I had a notification about their website. What kind of notification, mate? Peter Goddard again saying, if you had blocked their comments, how come I saw their comment last night? Indeed. I heard they put a contract out on you, mate. Let's have a look, see if anybody else is... David Evans is saying, steel wool does a great job for me, just cover your pickups first. Yeah, I mean, I've used steel wool in the past, and it's just all the little bits of it, it's just an embuggerance, frankly, having to, mask everything up before you use your steel wool. I have used it in the past, but, I use Crimson Fret erasers at the moment. You don't have to mask anything up. You don't even have to use a fretboard protector. If you use the super fine fret eraser, it cleans crud off your fretboard as well. And their argument is, oh yes, but ours polishes to a much finer grit, which is, well, fair enough. Yes, it does. But in terms of the end feel that you get on the guitar with these Crimson fret erasers, or for that matter, any company's fret erasers. I don't want to be sounding like I'm shilling for Crimson guitars. But fret erasers, it's as in terms of the feel that you get after you've polished your frets, it's equally as good. And you don't have to faff around masking things up or using those little kind of those fretboard protector templates and stuff, So it is what it is. I mean, hey ho, there you go. Ollie M is saying, on a light note, anything nice for dinner? Yes. 7 a.m. this morning, I fired off a batch of beef casserole in the slow cooker. Same recipe that you saw on the channel a little while ago. And there will be a curry video coming up at some point. The beef casserole video didn't get that many views, but it didn't bomb either. So you've asked for the curry recipe video. I'll put that up at some point. It's made. I just haven't kind of uploaded it yet. So anyway, yeah, we ran out of beef casserole last week from that last batch I made in the slow cooker. So that's been festering away on a low heat all day. The house smells absolutely epic, by the way. So we're having beef casserole and roast potatoes tonight. Moto Takar here saying, how about polishing stainless steel frets? You don't really need to, mate. I mean, I've had, excuse me, a couple of guitars now with stainless steel frets. And, because the material that the strings is made out of is a softer material than the material than stainless steel that the frets are made out of, they tend not to get too cruddy. You'll get all the kind of usual sweat and stuff that comes off them, but either this Rotor Sound guitar polish or Dr. Duck's Axe Wax, these are the two guitar cleaning products I use on the whole guitar. Then just going over the fretboard with those gets all of the organic detritus off them. One thing I don't know if you saw that Phil McKnight video that came out, I think, yesterday, where he had that beautiful artisan-made Italian guitar, and he was saying that the best fret wire in the world was put into this guitar, and it was the Jescar stainless steel jumbo fret wire. Well, guess what's in this guitar? Yeah, it's if you saw the video where this was getting refretted, you will have seen the that James put up on screen when he was shooting his part of the video, that this is indeed Jescar stainless steel jumbo fret wire. Can't tell you how good this guitar feels to play now. I'm slightly regretting cheaping out on the bridge pickup. I am slightly regretting that. I think I might just end up putting that Seymour Duncan little 59 in, or perhaps a DiMarzio Chopper T. We'll see. Let's have a look. George Wall is saying, being a plumber, I use a bath rubber on my frets. I've never heard of such a thing called a bath rubber. Budget pedal chap is saying, you need to play into that YouTube algorithm. This curry will have you playing faster, guaranteed. It'll get you to the end of the song faster if you've eaten it and the curry is taking its, shall we say, its natural course. What else have we been talking about? Peter Nicholson is saying, if you play the guitar, there's no need to clean the frets. I see what you're saying, mate, because, you won't get, if the strings are effectively kind of scrubbing the frets as you're playing them. I can see your point there. I would just say that, yeah, but sweat and gunk off your fingers is going to leave a residue on them as well. If you think about the difference between a new set of strings and what a set of strings feels like when they're kind of ready to be changed, all kind of cruddy and nasty and not particularly pleasant to play on, well, that's going to end up on your frets as well. So I think there is a need to do some level of fret hygiene, shall we say. Phil is saying, a bit of auto sol on a kitchen towel. Yep. There you go. Peter Collins is saying, I use Pledge or Mr. Sheen. That is exactly the same strategy that one of my absolute guitar heroes, and I'm going to try and get in touch with him. He's no one you will have ever heard of. He's a chap from this area called Andy Power, and he is an absolute guitar monster. He can play jazz like Wes Montgomery. He can play country like Albert Lee. He can shred metal like Yngwie. There's just nothing he can do, and he has the audacity to be, just a really, really nice bloke as well. The level of kind of virtuosity he's got, you really want to kind of hate him, but you can't because he's such a top bloke. I've known him since the early 90s, and he's a great guy, but he's not got a big presence on YouTube, and I don't have an email for him, so I'm going to see if I can rattle his cage somehow or other and get him on the channel and have a chat and maybe a play with him. But yeah, I remember seeing him back in the 90s, just at the end of a gig, just getting a tin of Mr. Sheen out and giving it a bit of a sploosh, and then one of the old yellow dusters that your granny used to have. We didn't have microfiber cloths in then. Pablo Hankerson, we've all heard of Andy Power, John. I've heard his name mentioned in here every second week. Fair enough, mate. Yeah, maybe I do bang the drum for him a bit because he's a top bloke and an absolute monster of a player. I will have to try and maybe Mr. Hoggart might have some contact details for him. A lot of people saying do not use Mr. Sheen. I suppose it can have an effect on nitro finishes. That is something to be aware of, I guess. But I think I've only ever used it on back in the days when I was playing on cheap guitars with poly finishes, like I still am now. No, I've used Brasso in the past on many guitars as well, but it's an absolute no-no getting it on the fretboard wood. If you've got kind of a rosewood fretboard, it stains it quite badly, in my experience, and possibly does more harm than just staining it. But if you're prepared to mask things off assiduously, then Brasso can be used. But as I say, spend a tenner or 12 quid or whatever it costs for a set of Crimson Guitars fret rubbers, and they'll last you. I mean, I've had a set for about 10 years, and they're still going strong. Winston Smith is saying, anyone know the average price of a refret? Well, the refret on this guitar cost me would have been, without the discount, would have been £250, but I got a little bit of a discount on it because of featuring the guitar on the channel and everything, and that was with stainless steel wire. I think it was, I think it costs a little bit less, maybe kind of 200 or so, using like kind of regular nickel wire. And to put that into context, the first guitar I ever had refretted was a Stratocaster back in about 1993, so 30 plus years ago, and that cost me £90 back then. So adjust that for inflation, it's about right, I suspect. Let's have a look. Any plans to do a follow-up lesson with Johnny from Budget Guitar Channel? Not sure what your viewing figures were like, but I thought it was great. I have done a follow-up to that video, but it didn't feature Johnny. That video will be coming out in due course. It's not that I didn't want to feature Johnny on that video. It was just that I needed to get a video kind of cranked out for that particular slot, and I didn't have. Whenever you're kind of dealing with someone else, you've got to kind of make your diary and their diary line up. So I'm not averse to having another video with Johnny. Johnny, if you're watching, get in touch. If you want to do another video like that, then I'm certainly up for that. So just give us a shout, mate. In fact, if you're not watching this video, I might give you a shout later on if I remember, which I know I will. On road again saying, I know you're not a Strat guy, but just for the sake of nostalgia. Okay. There's the actual comment. John, would you ever be interested in owning a Japanese Strat like the one you used to have and upgraded the pickups to? To be honest with you, I think I'm over Strats. I was a Strat guy for so long that, it's like, yeah, it's not where I'm at the moment. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying never. I'm just saying not at the moment. I'm liking Telecasters and Les Pauls at the moment, which is a vibe you may have picked up on this channel in recent times. I just like having the sort of the kind of clank of a Telecaster and the grunt of a Les Paul, and if I can get kind of close to both of those in a single guitar, then once again, here we go. This guitar comes pretty close. So no, it's just the best Stratocaster I have ever owned, if you can call it a Stratocaster. Let's call it an S-type. Was the Sire Larry Carlton S7. That was just a beautiful guitar. It genuinely was. It felt like a boutique guitar for, kind of not much more than Squire classic vibe money. And if even that didn't kind of make me think, oh yeah, I'm into Strats now, then I don't think anything ever will, frankly. We'll see. Well, stranger things have happened. You go back 30 years and I was a dyed-in-the-wool Strat guy, and I couldn't understand why anyone would want a Les Paul, because, you can do everything on a Strat that you can do on a Les Paul, and, and more. It's your taste changes as you move through time, and, at the moment I'm at where I'm at. So I'm not making any plans to go down the Strat route again. Sean House is saying, we're all the under £100 guitar Strat copies because most makers have Strat copies at the bottom of the price ranges. Pretty much, mate. Yeah, that was the one where I was thinking of beginner guitars as well, and beginner guitars where you're kind of playing, cowboy chords. It's not really the best thing to have, like, kind of big fat humbuckery kind of sounds for those kind of chords in most cases, for that kind of playing in most cases. So that was there was just more choice when it came to S-type guitars, Strats. Rexomatic is saying, tuned in late, missed all the controversy. I'm just about to kind of sign off, mate. We're 59 minutes and plus change in, and I'm going to be hanging around long enough to kind of neck this beer, so watch this one. There it was, gone, right before your very eyes. So, yes. And I think that is pretty much all I've got to talk about this week. I'm going to head off now because that casserole is, the smell of that casserole is going around my heart like a hairy worm, and I'm getting hungry. And not to put too fine a point on it, what goes in must come out. So we'll wrap it up there, chaps, once again. Thank you for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.